All right, I'd like to call to order the Dartmouth Board of Public Works meeting for September 18th, 2025. This meeting is being held by Zoom and this meeting is being recorded. Roll call, Mr. Gagne,
Present.
Mr. LaBelle.
Yeah,
My name is Robert Almy. I'm the chair and I am here, so we have a quorum. So we now will have our first item is to approve and accept warrants. Do I have a motion?
motion to approve and accept the warrants for the bills payable, period ending August 25th and September 2nd, 8 and 15.
Motion by Mr. LaBelle. Do I have a second?
Second the motion made by Mr. LaBelle.
Second by Mr. Gagne. All in favor? Mr.
Aye.
Gagne?
Aye.
Mr. LaBelle?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Item is accepted. Next item is approve and accept payrolls. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve and accept the payrolls for week ending August 16, 23, 30, and September 6.
Motion by Mr. LaBelle. Do I have a second?
I second the motion.
Second by Mr. Gagne. Mr. Gagne, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. LaBelle? Chair
Yes.
votes yes, item is approved. Next item is to approve and accept meeting minutes from July 24th, 2025 and August 14th, 2025. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, do I have any comments or corrections to the minutes?
No.
No.
All right, hearing none, let's approve these one at a time. Do I have a motion for July 24th?
I was not present.
All right, Mr. Gagne,
I'll make the motion to accept the minutes of July 24th as presented.
Mr. Gagne moves, the chair seconds. Mr. Gagne, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Gagne votes yes, the chair votes yes, the minutes are approved. Next item is the approval of minutes for August 14th, 2025. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve the meeting minutes for August of 2025.
Motion by Mr. LaBelle. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Gagne. Mr. Gagne, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. LaBelle?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Item is approved. Next item is old business comprehensive wastewater management plan. Tim, do we have an update?
Yes, so the comprehensive wastewater management plan request for qualifications has been completed, and we had sent the document to the town administrator and assistant town administrator for review and comment, and they have no comments. I know Mike did express some concern with the possibility of adding additional language to the effect of mitigation fees specific to upgrades that are required in the system for large commercial, industrial, housing projects. So the burden doesn't affect the ratepayer. So I mean, we could add that language in there.
Any board members, any further comments?
I would only ask that what Tim has paraphrased is that the process to look at the issue of commercial development that is for profit, and whether or not there is some kind of sliding scale for consideration of for profit versus residential that is not for profit. I think this is an important factor that we should incorporate in consideration of where we're at right now with what Tim has apprised me is on the radar for such development. I'm concerned as to how that will be handled if and when we have to do upgrades. And we have a significant residential base versus industrial and commercial. Thank you.
Okay. Tim, does that sound pretty clear?
It does. It does. And it
Yeah.
looks like we we can finalize this, excuse me, and get this document advertised.
All right. Good. Keep us surprised. This is probably one of the more important things we'll be doing for the next couple of years.
Absolutely.
For sure.
All right.
Mr.
Any public comments on old business A, the comprehensive wastewater management plan?
Mr. Chairman, just one question. If Tim, since we have our next meeting with a month away, with those amendments and potentially others that may come up, would Tim be authorized to then put it out as a solicitation?
Tim, this is a request for qualifications, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, so this is not the actual contract.
No.
Mr. Gagne, do you want to see this back, or is there some other process that you think would be useful here?
I certainly have spoken with Tim, and I have provided Tim my comments. I think, from what I hear, he can incorporate those. I think the sooner we get this out so that respondents have, time to get in a proposal to us and start reviewing it. I think I think you had said, Rob, earlier in one of our previous meetings, this is a very, very important timely thing. And I think we ought to try to get it so that we have some people to interview and make a decision and get going on it.
Board members, do you want to take an action authorizing Tim to release the SOQ, or do you think the conversation we've had and his work with the town administrator's office is sufficient?
I'm comfortable with it moving forward that way.
I am also.
Okay, so you've heard from all three board members, Tim, that we're comfortable moving forward.
Absolutely.
All right, with that and with no public comment, we'll go to item B, which is discussion of storm debris management. Tim?
I met with the district to sit down and and move forward with additional language in the draft storm debris management plan. We met on August 21st with the district director and his associate to continue that progress. And the next plan of attack is to reach out to the EMA director in town and invite him to a meeting to discuss some other planning and maybe some additional direction from the EMA director. So I do have an email out, and once they respond, we'll schedule our next meeting.
All right. Board members, any questions or comments?
Nope.
Let's hope we don't have any big storms.
Right?
Or at least we have plenty of time to plan for them.
Correct.
Oh, yeah.
Members of the public, any comments? Hearing none. Thank you, Tim. We'll move on to item C, which is a discussion of the efficiency study.
Yes, we received scope of work submitted from the town administrator and the select board. Has the board reviewed that scope? Basically stating project goals for the efficiency study, evaluate the current staffing levels across all DPW divisions, and determine adequacy to relative workload, assess internal organizational structure and management hierarchy, evaluate the efficiency and effectiveness of operational workflows, resource development, service delivery, review existing policies, procedures, and internal controls for clarity, consistency, regulatory compliance, operational relevance, examine interdepartmental coordination and integration of DPW within the broader town government structure. Recommend opportunities to modernize, streamline, restructure DPW divisions, if necessary, processes and policies, and provide benchmarking best practice comparisons with similarly sized and structured municipalities. Kind of a scope of services is organizational assessment, staffing and workload analysis, divisional operational review, policies and procedure evaluation, town-wide integration and structural review, benchmarking and best practices, final recommendations and implementation plan, and to be delivered would be a project plan and schedule, interim status reports, and draft report, final report, and then a presentation to the DPW board and the select board.
Board members, any comments?
I think the town administrator and the board obviously did a lot of work in putting together the components that they feel are necessary for the study. And I think more appropriately, we call it a study and sort of forget about the word efficiency, but because that's certainly encompassed along with a lot of other items in that study is going to take a significant amount of time, having been involved in such kinds of analysis. My only comment is I think they've made some very good points. I think they will be very helpful, but we're going to need to make sure, Tim, that someone who does that kind of work gives you a cost estimate at least for it, so the appropriation at the fall town meeting is adequate to cover it, because that's going to be a significant amount of money to do that kind of work.
Correct.
Far more than we were originally looking at, and we got to make sure that the town's appropriation and then the enterprise funds appropriation is adequate to cover it, so there's not any delay to it. Thank you.
Absolutely. And I forwarded the scope to Weston and Sampson and Abraham's group who had started the original study and had completed the rate studies. I also when I was at a Mass Waterworks Association conference, I had a conversation with Capital Strategic Solution CEO, and we had a good discussion about this as well. So I'm corresponding with them, and I'll be forwarding the scope to them as well.
Great.
All right, and Tim, a question on the cost allocation is, does the town administrator anticipate that the town will provide some of the resources for this study?
He had stated that they thought they could manage that, not having a total cost. That, I'm sure that's up in the air. So I did put a number on our capital improvement plan, which may have to be increased based on the scope.
Yeah, I think the allocation of costs across the various elements of public works as well as the town that allocation is really important. And although I don't think there's ever going to be a perfect answer, I think there should be some effort to be able to explain and defend whatever those numbers are percentage wise, because obviously there's going to be a fair amount of evaluation that falls onto other departments like planning, like the zoning board and the building department. So I think it's important that they contribute.
Correct.
But I think it's probably more important to get the work done.
Yes.
So, all right.
I agree.
Board members, any other comments?
No, I just think, the documents look comprehensive. I think it's the right direction that we're all taking, and it's certainly necessary. Thank you.
All right. Any comments from the public? Hearing none. We will move on to item D, which is the tree bylaw. Tim?
Okay, so we had met with the tree committee and the town administrator, as well as town council regarding the proposed tree bylaw that the tree committee has and the subcommittee has submitted for review for fall town meeting. Assistant town council has reviewed and completed some comments on the tree committees on the bylaw and wrote a subsequent bylaw and regulations, draft bylaw and draft regulations to be reviewed, and at this time, it's been recommended that tree committee, DPW, town council, and the town administrator continue forward progress on this document and try to prepare it for the spring town meeting where we don't think there's enough time to get it in for fall town meeting. But Andrea Langhauser, Ann Parson, and Susan McLaren are here to comment on that and add any other additional language.
Ms. Langhauser or Ms. Parson, do you want to make any comments?
Andrea?
You're on mute, Andrea.
You need to audio.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Mike, I think this is our first meeting together. Welcome aboard. We brought in that bylaw on for the Springtown meeting, and we got our feedback on September 5th from town council. So after meeting with Tim on and Rob and town administrator on the 15th, we agreed that the approach that the two parties have taken are too far apart to submit a tree bylaw for the fall town meeting. We do have a list of actions that we think we can take going forward, but I don't know if Ann wants to speak to what we lost and what we gained.
Good morning, everybody. I'll try and make this brief. I have a real concern about what the town council put forth. Our group, our working bylaw group, spent the last year or even more putting together a very comprehensive bylaw format, and they borrowed from many different towns across Massachusetts. It's a format that is used not only in this state, but across the country. You know, it has a real progression, purpose, definitions, authority and power, et cetera, et cetera. In comes town council, totally dismisses that bylaw and produces his own very, filled with legal terms, not especially readable, quite frankly, and sort of dismisses our bylaw after all the work that our subgroup have done on this. I checked, I've put out, I'm concerned because this doesn't seem right. His main concern was that we're too hitched onto Chapter 87, and that was actually our intent, was to expand upon 87 and strengthen it. And I checked with a tree expert next door in Fairhaven. He lives and breathes this stuff. I'm also checking with a few other experts, but Don Colossus in Fairhaven said that he feels we've been derailed, to quote, by an inexperienced attorney. There are very few who have experience with Chapter 87. It's unfortunate, and this is what he says: you have to pay a lot of money for this erroneous advice. He goes on and quotes from the state DCR that every city and town in Massachusetts has an opportunity to strengthen 87, to tailor laws to conditions in their community by passing a local tree bylaw. And that's what we made up. He goes on to say that any town bylaw passed by town meeting goes to the Attorney General's office for further scrutiny. All I'm saying is, I worry that we got the wrong feedback. And would you allow me time to check on this more? Because this is really important. If we're going to build a strong bylaw, we want to do it the right way. Do we have recourse in terms of this town council?
Tim, what's your experience with bringing in special counsel for narrow identified issues? Let's say 40B, for example. How is that done?
Tim, you're-
You're on mute, Tim.
We have special counsel for 40B development. We have special counsel for labor negotiations. It's possible. This can be requested.
So
It would be requested, need to be requested through the town administrator. And
Right.
approved.
yeah. So I have an observation based, since I sat in on that meeting. It seems to me that town council generally, this is very general, had two kinds of concerns. One was the relationship and reliance on existing state law. And I got the impression that it was better in his opinion, to make the bylaw standalone without any references to state law. So then in case state law changed, you don't have to change the bylaw. Now, that's what I heard him say. That's not necessarily my opinion, but that's what I heard him say. The other thing that, or set of issues, has to do with the relationship between or among the charter, the bylaws, and any regulations that the town promulgates. And so it seems to me that if you, the tree committee, can think a little bit about how those two issues might be addressed in the context of any requests you make to the town regarding special counsel, it would, I think, serve to narrow the questions, focus the discussion, and help the town administration make a determination about whether special counsel is appropriate in this particular case. So that's my sense. That's what you're hearing from me.
Thank you. Would it be okay if I did reach out to a few other experts and maybe perhaps someone even in just for advice, the Attorney General's office who specializes in creating tree bylaw?
Well, it seems to me, and you got a couple of things going on here. First, you guys were appointed by the select board. And so within whatever your charter is from the select board as volunteers, nobody ever complains when work is better than expected. So if you're making things better and you're within your charter with the select board, I think that's perfectly okay. And you've gotten support from this board. And so to the extent these issues can be sorted out, I think it's to the benefit of the town.
Oh, that's wonderful. Good.
But that's, I'm one vote, that's my opinion. But, as I say, listening to the discussion, I could sense that maybe there's a way forward, but it's going to take some work. And unfortunately, that work may fall to you folks. In the context of that discussion, I thought that there were certainly some things the tree committee could work on in the interim, recognizing that we all have other things going on and so much time in the day. But I think it would, you're gonna end up working on public awareness at some point anyway. And you could perhaps generate some support for what you're asking for with public outreach and an appeal to the public in one way or another that's positive and focuses on the benefit of replacing trees. If you drive the roads of this town, in some areas, you'll see that there are older trees that have been removed and there are real gaps in what used to be tree-lined road streets and roads. So one of the reasons I support this is as I drive around, I see the gaps, and I also see the older trees and think to myself, you know, it would be smart to start replacing trees now because they don't just go into the ground 18 inches in diameter. That's not the way it works. It takes time to get there. So anyway, that's kind of where I'm coming from. And you folks seem to have a good idea of what you're trying to do within the context of state law. So, and again, you've got the support of this board. So,
Super.
we aren't lawyers here, and you know, we're not in a position really to sort this out with town council, but I think you, as an appointed body from under the select board, you have you can certainly ask for additional help.
Super. Just one quickie. The 250th signing of the Declaration of Independence is coming up next year. And we are actually going to be doing a tree planting in connection to the town's 250th, which maybe will go on your agenda at another time. Excited about that.
Oh yeah, 200, you're gonna plant 250 trees? Is that what I heard you say?
We wish.
Well, if we raise enough money, we're about to do a fundraiser, so hold on to your hat.
Well, you know, I think that's the kind of work where you can get some exposure and generate some support. So whatever you guys can do. You know, there's been quite a bit of tree trimming the last few weeks. Driving around, I spent a lot of time waiting for the traffic to move on. And I've seen some of the size of the trees that have been cut down, and those trees need to be replaced. I'll leave it at that. And your committee is the mechanism for that to happen in a more timely manner and with support. So,
Great. Thank
all
you.
right. Any further comments from the committee? Any comments from the public on this one? Hearing none.
I had a different approach to move forward in a more pragmatic way because you can't get to town meeting without going through town council. But I think one thing that we will look to is that the working group might need some more energy after putting 2 years into this. And we were wondering if perhaps a representative of the Public Works Board would like to join us. We're a working group. We've articulated at the last tree committee meeting that we're not a subcommittee, that we are just a group of people who are researching a problem. And then, as you are familiar, we've been bringing each of those policy statements to the policy makers. In your case, we've been to Public Works 5 times as we've developed each of these different concepts. So if anybody's interested, myself and Sue, who's a tree committee member, are still on board to move this forward. And once we figure out our legal flexibility, if there's any, we'll get back to work. So if anybody's interested, that'd be great. Tim is stuck with us too.
I am.
How about moving forward together? I think that's better. Let's
Yeah.
be optimistic. You know, sometimes these things don't progress in a linear fashion, so take a deep breath, figure out what's next, and as long as you keep doing something positive, I think eventually we'll get there. It's a gray day, I admit, but maybe the sun will come out soon. All right. Anything else? So Andrea, your suggestion that a board member participate, we'll have a discussion about that and see if we can get somebody to help you out. On the looking ahead, we have there's an item on the fall town meeting to increase our board from 3 to 5. And if that happens, we will have additional hands on deck, if you will. And I don't know when that comes into effect. I don't know if it has to go to a vote or whether that kind of a change can be simply voted on and approved at town meeting and then it comes into effect through some other process
I believe it goes on the ballot
in the
in
spring.
the spring. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So hopefully it won't take that long to make some real progress. So we'll see if we can get one of our board members to participate with you. Do keep Tim apprised and keep the board apprised about your meetings, if you would.
Absolutely.
You guys, you're an open meeting law committee, so you need to send out your agendas ahead of time. As you put the agendas together, if you would let us know plenty of time ahead. So, you know, if you got a date and a time, then we can see if whoever's going to try and participate can make sure they're available. All right. Anything else on this, board members? Any comments from the public? Hearing none, we'll move on to new business. Tim, item A, USGS contract.
Yes, so this is an annual contract with the USGS, New England Water Science Center for the U.S. Department of the Interior, for stream flow monitoring of the Pascamanset River. So they monitor the levels of the Pascamanset River and basically inform us of the elevations, so we can, you know, during drought conditions or low levels, we have to shut down some of our water supply wells to stay in compliance with our Water Management Act permit. This contract is for $17,800 for this year.
Board members, any questions?
Tim, the question I have is that I know that they been monitoring this now for probably close to 20 years that I'm aware of. Do they share with you the historical data so that we could have an opportunity to sort of look at, you know, what conditions were over the various years and, you know, have some opportunity to see if that data gives us any kind of, you know, light or indication on where some things may be going. Just would seem to be a very interesting sort of historical piece of documentation to look at. I'm curious.
Yeah, so they do share the data. I have to research all the historical data, but I think we can manage that.
Be nice.
That'd be good. Some good data to look at and look at the trends.
Yeah, it would be nice to sort of see this all in one analysis. It may shed some foresight into where we may potentially be going on some issues that directly have a correlation to, you know, these stream and aquifer levels and things. Thank you.
Tim, the other thing that the data may help us understand is base flow from areas that are on septic systems. So I think making the full data set available to the team that's going to do the comprehensive wastewater management plan. Is important. So we've got a couple of different reasons to have a full data set.
I agree.
All right, any other comments? Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the agreement between the town of Dartmouth and, is it New England Water Science Center?
It's USDS, New England Water Science Center, and US Department of Interior.
Okay, for the amount of $17,800.
I have a motion by Mr. LaBelle. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Mr. Gagne. Mr. Gagne, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Gagne votes yes. Mr. LaBelle?
Yes,
Mr. LaBelle votes yes. Chair votes yes. The item is approved. Next item is the MS4 reporting contract. Tim?
Yes,
And,
so this is in the,
Rob,
Yep.
can I just make one comment?
Hang on just a minute. Yes, go ahead.
I just wanted to make one comment. I didn't realize this was on the agenda. I just wanted to say that we've started with the Waterways Group and the Board of Health agent. We have some water sampling going on in the lower Slocum, and we did our first year of sampling this year. We've got another year next year. We're looking to go into a third year, and going up the Pascomansit is the main waters of the Slocum. So all this work here is going to work really well with what we're trying to do, which is update that the TMDL on the Slocum and try to find the pollution sources. I bring that to your attention not because you don't know about it, but because we have funding for 2 years, but we're going to ask for funding for a third year and in that third year, we're looking to add some stations to start going upstream into potential pollution sources. So I just wanted to keep that on your radar, that we'd like to coordinate the sampling that's being done with this stream monitoring data is going to be really useful in our modeling in the future. So thank you for doing it.
welcome.
Tim?
Yes.
MS4 contract?
Oh, so moving on, MS4 reporting contract. So this is an agreement with Ty and Bond to complete the annual reporting for permit year 7 of our NIPTES MS4 permit, and also update our stormwater management plan for $6,800. This is budgeted in our operational budget, and so typically we have a contract with them to do the sampling and analytics, and this is for the permit reporting
Board members, any questions?
for $6,800. Yes.
Tim, at some point in the next few weeks, I'd like to talk about the overall stormwater management program, but this isn't really the time and place to do it. So, but as we get past the presentation on capital projects, I'd like to talk about this. All right.
Absolutely. Yes.
Any comments by the public? Okay, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve for professional engineering services, permit year 7 annual report with Ty and Bond for $6,800.
Motion by Mr. LaBelle to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Gagne. Mr. Gagne, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. LaBelle?
Yes,
Chair votes yes, item is approved. Next item is the SCADA system contract. Tim?
Right. So this is an agreement with Woodard and Curran to provide engineering services for upgrades to our water pollution control pre-treatment SCADA system for $72,800. in the contract, there were different items, so there was, one for the sludge handling, and we're not looking at, upgrading any skater for the sludge handling, it's just for the pre-treatment, skater for $72,800. This would be funded, mostly out of articles.
Excuse me, out of where?
Articles,
Okay.
capital article.
All right. Board members, any questions? Any questions from the public? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve proposed SCADA engineering services with Woodward and Curran in the amount of $72,800.
Do I have a motion by Mr. LaBelle. Do I have a second?
Second,
Second by Mr. Gagne. Mr. Gagne, how do you vote?
yes,
Mr. LaBelle, how do you vote?
Yes,
The chair votes yes, the item is approved. Next item is water and sewer abatement for 16 Emerald Drive. Tim?
Applicant has submitted a request for an abatement of water and sewer usage charges at 16 Emerald Drive on behalf of, I believe, his brother. The house has been vacant for almost 2 years. This has been stated in a letter wrote by Mr. Chen with an average bill of $100 for a biannual bill. And the meter showed consistent use for 3 weeks straight from April 13th to May 3rd with a drop off and May 3rd back to little to no use. Mr. Chen is here to request this abatement.
Okay, Tim, I have a couple of questions, but first, board members, do you have any questions? All right, Tim, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Ron?
no, I'm, go ahead, please.
All right, Tim, what kind of a meter is on this account?
It's a standard meter provided
And,
provided by the town.
all right, and is it, has it been upgraded so you can see more detailed information?
Yes, it has.
So you can actually, do you happen to have a record of daily use? Or is this aggregated?
We have in the packet, it should be 2 PDF documents, and one of them has a graph of the daily use.
Yeah,
Okay,
I think the water department print out for me, like a total, PDF file, but every hour, water was used. But that's 3 weeks, it continue to be used, okay? That's why, after things happen, I received the bill, because that's not my house, that's my brother's house. So I just go there for every week and every bi-weekly to check that. So nobody live there for 2 years because they get parents get sick. That's why they go back to take care of parents. So that's why we find the bills very high. I do a lot of study, and I also bring Antonio to check the house. And I will report to his department. They come to the check the house, look at everything there. I didn't see the flooding. I don't see everything happen. So they worried about a toilet. But I think if you look at toilet, they was use the Japanese import like an electronic toilet system. It's not like a hand use. That's why I was worried, because nobody flooding, because the bill come for every 6 months. It's very hard to go back see that. So people worry about the neighborhood can be used the water, but I don't think the neighborhood can use the water for 24 hours per day. That's why I worry about the meter, but it's hard to say the meter because sometimes working and not working, who know that. But that's why I don't understand what's really going on. So that's why, I was trying, talk to Antonio, talk to the board member, consider,
so, Mr. Chen, the chair recognizes Mr. Chen. He's the individual who is making the appeal.
Yeah.
So, Tim, what other information do you have? I see the charts.
Yep.
So this is daily use.
Yep.
Mhm.
And if we look at the numbers provided in by the graphs and in the letter supporting the appeal, it looks like they're using that. This shows us a fairly steady discharge of 4.5 to maybe almost 5 gallons a minute, somewhere in that range.
Mhm.
So this, to me, if there's no flooding in the house,
Yeah.
my intuition and based on my experience with water conservation programs and, these kinds of appeals, this feels like it's an outdoor discharge. And it also feels like the kind of thing that happens when either an outdoor valve is hose bib is turned on accidentally, or when the system has been closed and drained, the outdoor system has been closed and drained for the winter, and that system is turned back on, and one of the valves that was opened and for the draining is left on until it's caught some number of days later. I have made that mistake myself in the past, and I was lucky enough to catch it after about 3 or 4 days, but I know it happens. As I say, I've done it myself. So Tim, what options, board members, do you have any other questions?
No.
Tim, what, in terms of abatement, what options do we have?
I just wanted to ask, so I had also asked Tony to look into possibly testing the meter for accuracy.
Right?
Tony, are you available?
Yeah, the meter is out with Styles right now. It should be back soon. We sent it out last week, so
Okay.
it should be back very soon. And that, to me, that's his last leg is if that meter is nothing wrong with the meter. But if it's not, then I don't know what else to blame this on.
All right. So, Tim,
Thank you, Tony.
back to my original question.
Yeah.
Is this house on sewer?
Yes,
So there's both a water and a sewer charge involved with this higher use, is that right?
Mhm.
So
Yes.
what are the numbers that you think, or what does this use result in terms of potential charges?
So typically, typically if this was an outdoor leak, whether it's a sprinkler system, which we've seen in the past, or anything that doesn't enter the sewer, we always have the option to abate this. A large number of sewer, it can go back to look at an average of past bills to charge for the sewer rate. Since the water did go through the meter or allegedly until we get the meter back to confirm its accuracy, we typically don't abate the water usage.
Okay, so what would the charges be if they're not abated?
Charge what? So it's $2,085.18
For water or for water plus sewer?
for water plus sewer.
Okay,
So
and what, can you break that down for us?
so the water is $917.76, and I believe the sewer is $1,167.42.
Okay, and we don't have confirmation that the meter is accurate.
We do not.
All right. Board members, any other questions? All right. Tim, if this matter is continued, would there be any issue with late charges?
There would be, but we can discuss this with the collector's office as it's being appealed.
Right, because it's basically on us to finish testing the meter.
Correct.
All right. Um, do I have any sense of direction from the board?
I think we wait for the results of the test of the meter. And we would ask Tim to speak to the collector's office to abate any late fees for the period until our next opportunity to bring this on the agenda.
All right. What's your sense, Mr. LaBelle?
No, I agree with that. You have to know if the meter is functioning properly, and typically they do. Tim, the new equipment that you have monitors that daily, so somebody saw that happening. Mr. Chen, a question to you. Your outside spigots, can you shut them off internally so they don't work?
No, I never use the outside water pipe because that is what springtime and winter time, because it's most like they over there. I check this one here, but so after I go to the what department, they said probably your neighbor use, but I always don't think the neighbor can use it for 24 hours a day. So then but after this happened, I already hired a plumber to add like a new controller inside the house, control outside the water. That's after this thing happened. Okay,
Yeah.
I had a picture. I had a people. Because they said that the people neighborhood use the water, but I talked to neighborhood, but I don't think they use. I think if you use it, they probably use it for occasionally, but I don't think for 3 weeks. Continuous. Right? And I know the
Well,
use.
I'm just bringing that up as a suggestion to protect yourself from somebody doing or abusing your water, without your knowledge.
Yeah. No, I don't have.
I agree. We should wait until the meter results come back.
I was worried about the meter issue too, because the meter seems to working, after this happened. Because you look about, records I received, everything's working, meter show zero, they use the water, after 3 weeks. Okay, before zero, after, just about 3 weeks, they continuous water. After 3 weeks there, they continue, meter show zero. That means nobody use the water. But nobody live in the house. That's why I go to check most of the weekly and the bi-weekly. So I didn't, I checked this one here. So I didn't find any leaking. I don't find outside of the wet. That's why, I just wondering how this is going on. But, sometimes like my letter said, it's hard to argue the meter. Because some meters come out certainly sometimes the adjustment, sometimes they're not working. Later they adjust back, they kind of working. So I don't know, I'm not a mechanics, but I just said, that could be happen.
Okay, Tim,
And that's why it's being tested. Yep.
yeah, I think we're gonna continue this item.
Mhm.
We're in agreement. And so can I have a motion to continue?
Motion to continue the request for water abatement.
Motion by Mr. LaBelle. Do I have a second?
Second,
Second by Mr. Gagne. Mr. Gagne, how do you vote?
yes.
Mr. LaBelle, how do you vote?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Mr. Chen, we meet once a month.
Okay.
We have directed our Public Works Director to avoid any late fees. So we will reconsider this next month, and we will by then hopefully have the meter test results in hand.
Mhm.
And then we can have a discussion of what potential options any abatement might look like.
Mhm.
So it seems that the abatement could be all the total charges. The abatement could be for sewer. So those are two options. And it will depend on the judgment of this board. All right. Is there anything else you would like to share with us?
Based on suggestion by Antonio, I already paid the bill. Because I don't want to wait for later fee. I want to get the problem solved, but in the meantime, I do pay the money for the town. Make sure everything's going, you don't need to wait until, the bill. I just want to get the problem clear, solved,
Mhm.
because I don't think it's a reasonable charge, so that's why I couldn't understand, okay? I think attorney told me, said the meter not lie, but the problem, I want to say that we are not lie either, okay?
No, we understand. Yeah, these things happen.
Yeah.
Also,
Tim-
I can also say, we've seen some toilets leak in houses that haven't been used in a while, and then if somebody goes and uses a toilet, it might not function properly to close the valve off, and then it continues to leak over time as well. This seems quite a bit more than a toilet leak.
Yeah, I agree. Tim, when you bring this back, could you confirm, well, I guess I should ask the question a little differently. If Mr. Chen has paid the bill
Mhm.
and we agree to an abatement, how would that work?
Would- If
If
if he
Mr.
paid the bill,
Chen
so
had,
he would have to request a refund.
okay, and is this something that the town has done often enough that it's not particularly time consuming or burdensome?
It takes a little time to get it through and with warrants and, through meetings, but it's been done in the past, just not a ton. But refunds happen.
All right. So, Mr. Chen, it's up to you whether you'd like to pay the bill and come back next month and we can discuss a potential abatement. Or whether you want to wait and Mr. Barber will work with the town collector to be sure there are no late fees. All right, so it's up to you how you want to handle that part of it.
And Mr. Chairman, if I may, also, moving forward, if you do receive any other bills in the meantime, please pay them accordingly. Don't wait for any other new bills, because that will
Yeah.
accrue late charges as well.
As I said, no, I already used the auto bank.
Yeah.
Paid
All
that.
right.
I think Anthony's suggestion is good. So you don't want to wait, get a more problem more complicated. So that's
Yes.
why I paid the bill first. So, but I do want this problem can be solved.
Yes. All right. So we'll discuss this further at our next meeting next month. What's the third Thursday date, Tim? Do you have a calendar in front of you?
I do. Looks like the 16th of October.
All right, we should discuss that date. I have a commitment in Western Washington.
Mhm.
And we can talk about whether we hold the meeting and I participate very remotely or how that will work, but that's very possible that I could do that.
Okay.
So let's talk about the date. Well, so the tentative date for our next meeting is the 16th.
Okay,
Yes.
could you mind sending me the email before the meeting, remind me?
Yes,
I
we
was
will.
like a lot of research and the meeting, teaching, sometimes easy to forget, okay?
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
we will definitely. Yes.
All right, with that, thank you for your time, Mr. Chen. We'll try and work this out.
Okay, thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Okay, I can leave, right?
Yes,
You're all set. Thank you.
all set.
Mhm.
Okay, next item is item E, approval of a utility layer. Tim?
Yeah, so Clancy Contracting Incorporated of Freetown, Mass. has submitted an application for a licensed utility layer with the DPW. Clancy Contracting has been in business for 38 years and has submitted reference letters from Raynham Board of Sewer Commissioners, Middleborough Department of Public Works, and Lakeville Public Works for its associated sewer and drain work. I recommend approving Clancy Contracting as a licensed utility layer.
All right, any questions, board members?
No.
All right, do I have a motion?
Motion to approve the application for license utility layer for Thomas Clancy.
Motion by Mr. LaBelle. Do I have a second?
Second,
Second by Mr. Gagne. Mr. Gagne, how do you vote?
yes.
Mr. LaBelle?
Yes?
Chair votes yes, item is approved. Next item is item F, Cedar Dell Monitoring Agreement. Tim?
Yes, this is an annual agreement with AECom for the monitoring of the Cedar Dell pond levels and as well as the Pinelli wells and the Violetta well. This agreement also includes some purchasing and installation of new monitoring equipment, as our older monitoring equipment has basically it's out of date and needs replacement. We did secure a grant to purchase some of this equipment through the state. So that award was for $9,196, which allowed us to buy 5 new sensors, level sensors, and the associated hardware to connect them. So the agreement with AECon would also include the purchases of 2 other additional probes and level sensors and hardware, and the installation and the monitoring of Pinelli wells, Cedar Dell Lake, and the Violetta wells, and collect three rounds of readings for 2025 for a total of $25,174.
Board members, any questions on this?
No.
All right, so a couple of things. Tim, I didn't see in the materials what these sensors measure. Obviously, they measure water level. Do they pick up anything else like temperature, salinity, anything else?
I don't believe so, because they're actually level sensors.
Yeah, all right. And the other observation I'll make is the residents in this area are very interested in the issue of extraction of water and its impact on the lake. So I think it'd be worthwhile at some point with the new data and the new setup to have some kind of a public meeting where you bring in anybody who's interested in, maybe we meet in the North Library or someplace closer to where they are.
Sure.
But I'll just put that out there, knowing that this is a sensitive issue. All right, do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the consulting service agreement with AECom for water level monitoring at the value of $25,174.
I have a motion by Mr. LaBelle. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Gagne. Mr. Gagne, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. LaBelle, how do you vote?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Item is approved. Next item is fiscal year 2026 FTM CIP fall town meeting. Tim?
Yes. So historically, fall town meeting CIP was reflective of spring town meeting CIP. Anything that wasn't awarded would filter to the fall. But look, this year the town administration has requested full submittals of CIP for the fall town meeting, and this actually gives us a chance to look at what we were awarded in the spring, and then look at what's gone on through the year and possibly prioritize different items. So it gives us a chance to really look at our requests for capital and kind of reprioritize them and resubmit those. So we worked with all the DPW divisions and department heads to put together an updated proposal for capital, and it's been submitted to the town administrator and the finance director. And I will be meeting with the capital improvement plan committee next Tuesday, the 23rd at 8 a.m. at Town Hall. Does anybody have anyone have any questions or comments on the CIP? The plans were in the packets.
Board members, any questions? Tim, what do you anticipate any issues?
I know, our retained earnings were quite low, for water, as we had spent, a lot of money on purchasing additional water this year from New Bedford due to mechanical failures due to a couple storms, that knocked out a number of our wells. So, you know, this restricts us from expenditures for capital, with the low retained earnings. So on the water side, the sewer retained earnings look pretty good. So we should be able to move forward with some of our capital requests. Solid waste, looks good, as well. And, you know, as I've stated in other meetings, that the requirement to purchase, electrified, heavy duty vehicles has been postponed, till January 1st. So, you know, we have some vehicle purchases on this year, the fall town meeting capital as well. And then, our roadway maintenance program, we have some good, projects on there to move forward with, as well as our request for $1 million in, road maintenance for all of the maintenance that we do in town. And, it looks like we gave back in some past articles this year over $1 million, back to the general fund. So it looks like, you know, hopefully we can get that back in some new articles.
Tim, one question on the water side. Were there any wells shut down because of drought conditions and low levels of water?
So, yeah, so we.
You had
we
said
have-
mechanical problems. I was just wondering if there were any other reasons.
Yeah, so annually, you know, dry summers, we do shut down a couple of our wells. We did have some language that Steve Sullivan had worked on with DEP regarding our Water Management Act permit to allow us to supplement. So if we have to shut down wells due to low river levels, that we can pump additional water out of other wells to supplement. But somehow that language, when the DEP put it into our permit, they changed the language. So Steve was back negotiating with them. And
Changed it or didn't include it?
they changed the language.
Ah,
Yeah. So from our request, so I know Steve had put in a request to relook at that. So I'm not sure if Tony has any information on that, or we'll have to meet on that again. But we, in combination with those wells being down, we also had multiple wells down for mechanical failures due to storms. A couple of transformers were down, and then once they were replaced, another storm struck one of those new transformers with lightning, and also burnt up the underground electric, which had to be replaced. So moving forward, those wells are back online and functioning, and we're continuing work at the 579 Westport Road treatment facility to get the 4-log and the clear well. So the construction is continuing. They should have, you know, I know the structure was being built for the clear well last week, so it should be a couple more weeks, and they should be back on installing the 4-log piping next week, I believe. So once that's all online and functioning, we should be able to turn on at least 2 more of our Pinelli wells.
And are they affected by water levels in the Pascamanset or not?
No, they're not.
Okay. All right, any other questions, board members?
no.
All right, so Tim, you'll be there. Wait, let me back up. Does the select board still need to approve the warrant?
Yes.
Okay, so it's got 2 steps. It's got your, the committee to look at it, and then there's the select board approval. When is the select board gonna make their final approval? Do you know?
That I'm not sure. CIPC is sitting down with all the agencies in town to go over their capital, and then they will meet again to discuss their comments and decisions. I always ask that once they have comments and decisions that they come back to us with those responses, so we, if we have to adjust anything in our capital plan, that we can before it goes to the select board for final vote.
All right, and then in the past, have board members ever attended the meetings with the capital committee?
Not, I know it's I can't tell you if I've ever seen any other boards in town meet with other agencies, but I haven't seen any department head, any board members from the DPW in the capital planning meeting. But I wouldn't say that they shouldn't, and they'd probably be invited for the presentation.
All right. When they publish their agenda, could you send that to all three of us, just so we know?
Absolutely, I will, and I'll reach out to and see if anyone minds if any of our board members show up for the meeting.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, any other comments or questions on this item?
No.
All right, next item is item H, pump station project bid rejection. Tim?
So after receiving and reviewing the single bid for the upgrades of our Route 6 and Ellsworth sewer pump stations, which are to provide capacity for the additional flows for the Preserve 40B housing project. We had a meeting with our consultant and also with the town administrator and assistant town administrator, and due to the lack of funding and only one bid, which was quite a bit higher than the estimate, we recommended to reject the bid and plan to rebid with a possible deductible alternate option. So, we have an option to award a bid if the bids come in high again.
All right, what are the funding sources for this project?
So we currently have a housing grant through the state for $2.1 million. The Preserve 40B has agreed to pay $250,000. Lincoln Park Housing Development had agreed to pay $100,000. The Sewer Enterprise Fund had agreed to pay $160,000, which was approved in an article last year. The DEP and BBC Buzzards Bay Coalition had granted us $250,000 toward the project for nitrogen removal. And that is the extent of the funding.
And so how much over was this bid compared to the money that you think you had to go toward the project?
About 813,000 higher than,
Then all of those funding sources together.
yes. Yeah, with the estimate for the project, including the construction administration and the contingency.
All right, and again, this project is driven by two large housing developments, one of which is a 40B project, and will not only serve those projects, but also potentially reduce nitrogen would it be into the Pascamanset?
No, into Buzzards Bay.
Okay. All right. I think this underscores the importance of asking 40B projects for sufficient funding to address the real costs that they drive.
Yeah.
And I'll leave it at that. All right, so you need a motion from us to reject the
Yes.
bid?
Yes.
All right, board members, any questions?
So Tim, the gist of it is that some $800,000 plus needs to be raised. Is the plan to go back to those entities to see how they plan on making up that difference?
Well, if you look at the preserve 40B, they have a signed comprehensive permit with the zoning board of appeals. So you only pay the 250,000. Same with the Lincoln Park project, because that was also a 40B or a 40R. So they had a signed comprehensive permit that was voted on by the zoning board of appeals as well.
So do those projects have sewer connection permits at present?
So Lincoln Park has connection permits and has connected all the buildings that were phased without this upgrade.
Okay,
So any future build out of that development would require that that minimum, that 100,000 be paid. And then the preserve has a sewer extension permit for only the main, but they do not have any connection permits currently. Through flow calculations, we would allow for one building to be connected to the existing system without the upgrades, but any additional buildings would require these upgrades to be in place.
I think the sooner you furnish this information to the two projects you mentioned, I'd be very concerned, and I would be echoing Rob's comments. I'm very appreciative of the grants that have come from the state, but at this juncture, I'm concerned that in fact the difference, should be looked at for the projects, because those projects need that kind of increased capacity, and not that increase being fully funded by the sewer enterprise fund.
Correct.
In addition, Tim, did the department name the $100,000 and $250,000 payments as in their evaluation of the original requests, or where did these numbers come from?
So it was negotiated. So I think the former director had requested funding for all the upgrades, and I believe the developer negotiated for lower costs, and they agreed upon. At the zoning board agreed with the 250,000, I believe.
So that was the department, those numbers came originally from the department.
Not from my department. So so we wanted the full replacement costs
And did we
to be paid for, but they didn't agree to that.
Did we state a number, or was it just we asked for the full cost, whatever it was, open-ended?
I'm not sure back then. I could look up the number that was requested, but there was negotiation that went back and forth, and through special counsel, it was recommended that we negotiate.
All right, well, since we have 3 new 40B projects working their way through the town process, it seems to me that there's a lesson to be learned here about asking for enough money.
Yeah.
And using this as an example of why that's needs to happen.
Yeah, so you can ask for the money. If the permit gets denied at the zoning board of appeals level because of that negotiation, they can appeal to the state, and the state typically votes in favor of the developers for affordable housing. So in the end, we don't see a lot of positive coming out from municipalities.
Well,
So the hand's kind of forced.
on the one hand, if we need, and is it who in the state considers any appeals regarding 40B housing projects? Is it some agency within the state that has to do with housing, or is it DEP?
No, it would be housing. Yeah, it wouldn't. wouldn't be DEP. You know, a lot goes through Mass Housing, where they have an eligibility study for the project, and it all goes through Mass Housing. I'm not sure exactly who the appeal would go to at the state.
Yeah, I get it, but it's not DEP, almost certain.
No,
Goes to
no,
an ag- It goes to an agency called HAC, Housing Appeals Commission, or
correct.
used to be a gentleman by the name of Vernon Lowe who heard all of those. I'm sure Vernon has retired by now, but it's HAC.
All right. The
And,
reason I ask is, you know, on the one hand, I feel like the duck moving across the pond, and we're pumping really hard to take care of water quality, and then these new projects are just making us swim against a much stronger current. So
Absolutely.
I don't know, it's not much of an analogy, but that's what comes to mind.
Yeah.
All right.
I think the other issue that is prevalent to this is that on the other side of this equation, we have the end recipient, and that's the wastewater treatment plant.
Right.
We're dealing with one component, but this is definitely going to have an effect on capacity, reaching capacity, future expansion requirements, and we're dealing with the tip of the iceberg right now. The iceberg is 99% underwater, and we're going to end up having to deal with this. And I think we got to get involved because it's concerning, and I think it's concerning to this board.
Correct.
And there are, so if we were to step back and look at these projects as we might have, say, 10 or 15 years ago, with what we know today, we might not only ask for the pump station and collection upgrades, but also a certain amount of contribution to the capital cost of expanding the wastewater treatment facility. I think this is an important point to make to the zoning board and the town administrator as we move through this process.
I agree.
Yeah, my concern here is bewilderment is, how does the zoning board of appeals get to negotiate a number that is only affecting public works? And you know, my question is, why isn't someone from Public Works in that negotiating process?
So Public Works is part of that negotiation. So I wasn't part of that past negotiation, but we're looking at each of these new projects coming in, and I'm writing letters, looking at evaluations of infrastructure, offsite infrastructure, and mitigation fees to bring that infrastructure up so it can allow for capacity of these projects. And even speaking with special counsel said, I'm not sure that you can actually ask them to evaluate offsite infrastructure because of the 40B process.
Yeah, I'm reminded of the old saying, if the facts are against you, argue the law. If the law is against you, argue the facts. If the facts and the law are against you, get yourself a new lawyer. So anyway, I think we got the facts in hand, and we need to make the argument and make it loud and polite and fact-based. And that's kind of where I'm coming from. And if we've got an $800,000 deficit on upgrading some pump stations, and these projects gave us nothing for upgrading the wastewater treatment facility, seems to me that's an example of how we can do better with the 40B process in 3 new projects.
Yeah.
So,
Problem is the attorney that usually represents a lot of these projects, he wrote the book on 40B.
I don't care.
No,
He didn't set up the facts, right?
Yeah, no.
We have facts. Let him
definitely didn't set up
take
the facts.
away a fact-based argument in public, in the town, and let's see what Dartmouth Weekly has to say, you know?
I think, I really think this issue, based upon the scale of projects we see on the horizon, that we really need to look hard at, not the issue, and we don't take a position on the 40B projects there,
Right.
no approval, but we certainly need to be able to say, whether or not this impacts capacity and what is mitigation cost for the issue of capacity. And I think it's fair to say, what is the impact upon the ratepayers down the road for these financial ventures that inure a profit to an entity or corporation that is going to have the improvements funded by the residential taxpayers?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Absolutely agree.
That's
And
exactly
it's-
correct.
Yeah. All right, and
I think the sooner, Rob, that we deal with this issue, and I know Tim's got a ton of stuff, but I think if we were able to have Tim at least draft a letter expressing these concerns, and then each of us has an opportunity to look at and finesse the letter, I think the sooner we get it in to the Zoning Board of Appeals and a copy to the Select Board, the better, because I really am concerned about this.
right, so Tim, you've already had some correspondence.
Absolutely, yeah.
Can you
And
share that correspondence with us, please? And
I
then,
believe I have.
yeah.
Yeah.
But let's make it easy for everybody.
I'll resend it. Yeah.
Just put them in a single zip file, send them out, and then board members, as individuals, you are quite welcome, as far as I'm concerned, to give Tim input on anything you think could be made stronger. And because we have a different job in the town, it seems to me that as individuals, we can also express opinions to other decision makers, like the Select Board. And possibly carry some of our concerns to the Zoning Board whenever they look at these projects.
The issues for water and wastewater in this town are gonna be
Big.
at some point insurmountable, and it's gonna compromise a lot of things, and it's gonna cost a lot of money to stay ahead of this problem.
It is.
Yeah,
And we
and
all
between-
know that.
But between what we see as infrastructure challenges, big ones, and the need to stay ahead of physical infrastructure for schools, that is new buildings as necessary, are a real challenge. And that's what this long-term capital projects committee is looking at. So Ron, these projects these issues are real. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
and there's no way to wave your arms and diminish how important they are, because it's going to be difficult to, first of all, to convince the town voters to go along with these things, but second, to actually get them done in a reasonable amount of time. I mean, this is a huge challenge.
Yeah.
So,
I
all right.
I can say just the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting scheduled for the 25th of September.
Right.
I believe it's 6 p.m. at the Select Board meeting room. This meeting will be primarily to discuss for two of the 40B projects that are proposed to present their traffic impact analysis. So I don't think they're looking at resident comments at this time yet, but they will at future meetings. So at this point, they're looking at the traffic impact analysis. On the other hand, the two of the proposed developers have reached out to me to sit down with us and to sit down with Stantec to go over what's needed for evaluating the systems. So they proactively reached out to me. I've sent that through special town council for these facilities, and they would like to wait until there's an agreement with the peer review consultants before moving forward with these discussions. So I'd say probably within the next month, we can start scheduling meetings with the developers and their engineers.
Right, and so who's gonna pay for the peer review?
So the peer review estimates go out to the developers to put funding in I believe a 53G account to be used for the peer review. So
All right, and then so you'll have peer review for what? Water, sewer, and traffic?
correct, yeah.
All
You know, the water, sewer, traffic, stormwater, wetlands, civil, landscaping, the peer review for most items that are proposed.
All right. Any other questions, board members?
Do we need a motion on this, or
Yes, a motion to reject the bid. Thank you, Mike.
I'd make the motion that we would reject the bid, the single bid received for the Ellswick lift station upgrade.
We have a motion by Mr. Gagne to reject the bid. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Mr. LaBelle. Mr. Gagne, how do you vote?
I vote to reject it, yes.
Mr. LaBelle,
Yes,
vote to reject.
vote to reject.
And the chair supports the motion and votes to reject the bid. So the bid is rejected.
And so the rejection letter was also in your package. So after the meeting, I'll sign that letter and we'll send that out to
All right.
the bidder.
All righty. Okay. Item I, status update, 808 State Road.
So this is a new 56 unit residential development, non-40B. An application to develop. It's 802 and 808 State Road, as well as the property behind it. It's that large outcrop of ledge property on State Road, next to Route 6 Marine. So it's been submitted to zoning and planning. So basically the property is zoned general business, which allows for multi-unit residential development through special permit from the planning board, but they're also requesting zoning variances. So I have composed letters for water and sewer requiring evaluations of the existing infrastructure to be paid for by the developer. As the proposed development will also flow through the Ellswick and the Route 6 pumping stations, as well as the North Station to get to the treatment facility. So.
All right. And I presume that you'll ask for appropriate compensation to the town for sewer collection system, wastewater treatment plant upgrades, and water supply system capacity upgrades.
Yeah, so first for the evaluations, and then once we receive that estimates on the project from the consultant on the evaluations, we'll submit that to the developer. Once we get that money, then we can enter into contract with the consultant and move forward with the evaluations.
All right, so I have a question. We just rejected a bid to upgrade a couple of pump stations. Was the design that was part of that process, did that design include additional capacity for projects like this?
It did.
Okay.
Yes, it did.
All right. Okay, any questions, board members?
No.
No.
All right, next item is director evaluation. I'll start here. I forwarded a copy of an evaluation that was given to me by Mr. LaBelle. You recall that the board asked Mr. LaBelle to do the evaluation, and the town administrator turned it back because the form had the wrong year on it. It
Yeah.
had 2003 to 2023 through 2024. And I hesitated to make the correction myself. Is that an appropriate correction, Mr. LaBelle?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so I can make that. You gave me a Word copy of the evaluation, and I will make that change and forward it. Tim, is there any other action that you know is necessary? Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, there's one other thing. I think they asked for a set of objectives for this fiscal year. So, Tim, could you put those together so that I can forward this as a package?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, board members, are you going to want input on Tim's objectives, or do you think they're straightforward enough that, you know, he knows what needs to get done?
Mr. Chairman, I think with your tenure on this board, your review of those objectives would be quite comprehensive. Ron has worked hard on the evaluation. I think if you looked at the goals and objectives, you would very well know their sufficiency for the oncoming year. And I would make the prerogative that you would advance those along with the evaluation.
Thank you. I feel much older now. Ron, do you have any input?
I feel that way every day.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
No, I concur with that completely. I'm good.
All right. So Tim, why don't you let me know when you've got a list?
Yes.
Send
will
it
do.
to me, and maybe I can come in and we sit down and go over it if there's a need to go over it.
Okay,
All right.
that works.
Okay. Board members, next is committee updates. Any board members have any committee updates?
I do not.
All right, I will give you an update on the Long Range Capital Planning Committee. The schools held a meeting last night at the junior high school. It's the second of 3 meetings. Ours is the third. The committee and myself and Tim and Public Works staff are working on a presentation for our meeting, which is the third and last of these meetings, which is now scheduled for October 30th at 6 in the September 30th at 6 in the evening at the Southwick Library. The meeting was attended by members of the public as well as 3 board members. I think I counted 3, and the school administrator and other members of the public. The only thing I will tell you about the presentation, I thought the presentation was well done. I have a personal preference for slides that don't have a lot of words on them. So that what you say over the slides relates to the bulleted items, but you're not forced into reading the slide. And Tim and I sat in the audience and watched the presentation, and we kind of agree on that. So you have a draft of the presentation we're working on. Much of it is structured and developed by the town administrator. The parts that are specific to Public Works are 4 slides for each of 3 projects. The wastewater treatment system, the water supply system, and the bridge. The bridge obviously is going to be a lot about the state process. The wastewater treatment plant, we've had a number of discussions about, and so we're going to focus on the progress we've made to date with the comprehensive wastewater management plan, and then what the process is that we go through after that. So this will be mostly a process discussion, and we'll have a similar process discussion with the about water supply development. I've asked him, as part of this public presentation to develop what amounts to a 2-page summary of the Public Works Department services and emphasizing health and safety, which is really what a lot of these services are about. And the idea is to have a single document printed front and back so that as people come in, they have something to hold that they take home that talks about how important the Public Works Department and their people and their services are. And that's kind of something I think is important, and I think it'll have future use in any, like at a town meeting, for example, or anything like that. Anyway, that's kind of where we are. And if the board members have any input on the presentations, please give them directly to Tim. And Tim and I will work this out, and we'll also figure out who's going to actually give the presentation. We've got the division managers, or I'm sorry, the department managers, with Tim and myself, and we'll talk about, and the assistant director, and we'll talk about who gives the presentation in which parts. The school's presentation was all done by Jim Kiley, who's the assistant administrator. The first of the presentations was given by
Cody.
Gary and Cody, and that worked out well. So I think we got some flexibility in who stands up and it becomes the public face of this thing. Anyway, again, any comments on the presentation, please give them to Tim. He and his team are going to finalize this thing.
I think that's an excellent idea, Rob, to have a 2-page handout. I would just suggest to Tim that he advances a copy of that document to Cody. That way he has an opportunity to look it over. But I think that makes a lot of sense because you have something to take home and read more thoroughly. And as you said, it's helpful relative to town meeting. Great idea.
Yeah, and I struggled with early versions of this presentation, trying to do that in 2 slides. And as this presentation has evolved through the committee, it seemed that really wasn't wanted as part of the presentation. So okay, how do we sell the services and get the community to understand how important public works services are, even the ones they don't see every day. So this is what I've settled on. So we'll see how it works.
Tim, is DCTV filming these?
Yes.
Yeah.
So they were originally filming them to stream later on YouTube, but they actually they're live streaming them now.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. And I attended my first long range capital plan meeting last week with Rob as well. I had talked with Cody and said, I should probably be involved in these meetings, and he agreed. So we worked, and then we met with Rob and my department heads to discuss moving forward with this presentation and the document. So I have, Sandy's working with the department heads to work on this presentation to get it going. And once we have a good presentation together, we'll send it out to the board to review. And but it'll be happening. So the meeting is scheduled for September 30th. It's Tuesday, September 30th at 6 p.m. at the Southworth Library. It was originally scheduled for the 25th, but the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting for the 40B project is also at the same time on the 25th, so they moved it to the 30th.
Right. Any other comments or questions, board members? Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Tim, director updates?
All right, so we have a good update. Our smart billing finally went out late. typically goes out mid-July, but with the lack of a utility billing clerk, we didn't have anyone to put the bills together. So we did, we had hired a new utility billing clerk, and as you know, the former administration had prevented us from hiring the second utility billing clerk once it became vacant. And without that backup, it consistently causes issues when either the one utility billing clerk is on vacation or on leave or actually leaves the town or gets promoted to another department, which has happened multiple times since I've been the director. And so finally we've worked with the new administration with HR. We were able to get that utility billing clerk position from the town hall union over to the DPW union, and we advertised, and we've been interviewing candidates. So it looks promising for the near future that we'd have this position filled. Finally, it's taken many years, and have backup. So we've also been training and cross-training other staff, but on the billing process. So, this doesn't happen in the future. So it looks good moving forward. We finally get the smart bills out, and we have had some comments regarding the increase that we had increased the bills back in January from $90 to $110 annually, which I believe comes out to like 36 cents a week or something. So the increase. So we'll answer those calls and get any requests for data. I know I had one resident requested all of our revenue and expenditure data for the SMART program. So I plan to send them the presentation that we had before the board back in January when we set those rates. So moving forward, that's good. Any comments on that? Anybody get their bills? Anybody, any complaints? Moving forward, we received for our water pollution control composting facility. We typically we have an agreement with Casella, who trucks out about agreements for about 6,000 cubic yards per year of compost from the wastewater treatment facility. Due to impacts on the market of selling compost, they are electing to and terminate our contract October of 2026. So in that time frame, we'll have to look at other means of removing the compost. So we're working with the current company to amend the contract to possibly trucking out cake form of the material rather than the compost. And worst case, we'll have to look at trucking out a liquid sludge. So that's the next big issue with water pollution control. And
That's huge.
it is.
Just the transportation on that is a
Big.
budget breaker.
Yep, absolutely. So with DEP puts a lot of uncertainty out there. So everybody has concerns with taking the compost. So
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions, board members? Tim, you'll get back to us on this one.
correct.
Keep us surprised.
Yeah, I'll keep you updated with any progress. We're also going to be looking at meeting with Stantec to look at other options as well. So next up, so we did receive this week. We received a drought declaration from the state, putting us in a mild drought for the South Coast. And the rest of the Commonwealth has been moved to a moderate drought. The rest of the Commonwealth, including the Cape and the Islands, is all in a moderate drought, and we're currently in a mild drought. So we'll be, putting out some public notifications on, water conservation due to the drought conditions. Moving on, our staffing, we've been working really hard with our departments, with the HR department and town administrator and everybody, and we've had a lot of progress with new hires, and by the end of the month we will be in a pretty good position, I think, and probably the lowest amount of vacancies I've seen in the past 5-6 years in the DPW. So it's looking good. I think we have we're working on hiring another HMEO, associate engineer, the utility billing clerk. So it's looking promising. Next, so lastly, fall town meeting is scheduled for October 21st. It'll be, we don't have a full warrant yet, so as I said, we're working on all of the capital articles, and they've been working on a number of articles for town meeting.
All right, board members, any questions or any other issues?
Yes, one thing, Tim, can you give us a status update on the sewer connection fee for Delano Apartments?
So they had asked for one thing. They had asked for a phasing of the fee. So we had given them a fee breakdown, which was the connection fees, and then an additional mitigation fee for capacity upgrades and mitigation. So that they had asked to phase the fees. So I put in a request with the administration for consultation with council to create a memorandum of agreement to assess these fees at a time of occupancy rather than at a time of connection. And I met with council and town administrator, and they recommended that we draft the MOA and then submit it for review to the town administrator and to council. So that's what we're working on now, getting that out. When we did discuss that mitigation fee, I think it was $12 per gallon per day. So of discharge that through the Title V calculations of flow from the facility. But we didn't take into consideration any of the garbage disposal impacts at that time, because we weren't aware that they would be proposing to install garbage. So, with these systems, it adds a lot of impacts to our infrastructure, pump stations, additional grease and solids and BOD. So, it's worthwhile to look at some additional mitigation for garbage disposals in a large setting like this. What's
The
that?
loadings at the plant are already approaching 80%, aren't they?
Correct, yeah. Sometimes
Yeah.
100%.
That's.
So Tim, at our last meeting, you briefed us on the letter that Stantec had done relative to the impact on the town's sewer infrastructure in that area. In that letter, I had raised concern that there was a section relative to Stantec raising an issue relative to the addition or need for an additional pump in the lift station that main goes to. I've gone back and looked at the letter, and I think we should ask Stantec whether or not this particular increase in flow in that area will trigger the need for that additional pump. And they should also, if they determine that the project does trigger that, I would ask Stantec to provide you with a estimate of the cost of replacing that pump that they reference in that letter, so that it can be brought into this discussion.
Right.
I think we should not leave that opening that they had in the letter, which was, I consider, very vague on that aspect. And I think I want more, I want to see more relative to that.
Yeah,
I'll
I
set
think,
up,
I think
discussion
the
with them.
issue raised here is to make sure we get adequate mitigation.
Correct.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
Okay. Board members, any other items? Okay. Hearing none, are there any issues with the public? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second,
Mr. LaBelle makes a motion to adjourn. Mr.
Second.
Gagne seconds the motion. Mr. LaBelle, how do you vote?
Yes?
Mr. Gagne?
yes.
Chair votes yes. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for your time and your patience.
Thank you all.
Thank you.